Welcome back again, Forging friends. We are at 2 decks left from the Celebration Winds of Exchange decks. I think I'm going to open this one today. We will save that one for next video. I want to thank you all for watching if you have been. It has been quite nice opening Keyforge cards again on YouTube, so I hope to keep doing it for the foreseeable future. If anybody has any suggestions for kind of content they'd like to see going forward after we're done here, let me know. I have some ideas in mind, so don't worry. But for now, let's see what we got here. We've got a deck with Mars, and that's where the token creature is, Sanctum, and Star Alliance. We've got Tyrannonet, Haven, Mathemagician. Cool name. Got a kind of a dual Archon here. Looks like two wing-headed angels staring at each other. Interesting. Dropping down the Archon card. We've got our token creature, the Grunt. Very simple, 3-power creature. That might seem bad to some people, but actually having a 3-power token creature is fantastic because they have some survivability compared to things like we've seen before, like the cultists and the priests. With 3 power, they can actually do some work. They can fight into things, be a threat reaping, maybe last a couple of fights, really. So we can probably get some good use out of this guy. Starting with Star Alliance, we have the upgrade uplink. Amber when you play it, and this creature gains action, make a token creature for each of this creature's non-Star Alliance neighbors. Okay, so when you play this deck, you want to put at least one Star Alliance creature off on its own between creatures of other houses. Since we know we have this card in our deck. Pretty cool. We have Teamwork. It is an action card. Play, make a token creature. If there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, archive Teamwork. This is Star Alliance recurable card. It's not a great one in my opinion because you generally don't want to have more enemies than friendlies, but if you do in a pinch, this is a nice one. Red Alert, powerful card. If there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, deal damage to each enemy creature equal to the difference. Really good card. We've got the CPO Zytar with 2 damage pips and an enhanced damage pip and 2 draw pips. 4 power, 1 armor. Cool, I love the art on this one. Really neat. CXO Tabor, 3-power creature. After fight, after reap, you may play or use a non-Star Alliance card this turn. Really good. I love Star Alliance's ability to use cards off house. We got the Transporter platform. It's an artifact with an Amber pip. Return a friendly creature and each upgrade attached to it to their owner's hands. Perfect. I'm hoping we see a lot of upgrades. We've seen 1 upgrade so far. Just going to hope for some more upgrades so we can make use of that. Grunt Work is an action card with an Amber pip. Play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. Make a token creature. Wow. So not only do we get future information, but we get to make a token creature. That's a great card. And we have 2 of those. That's amazing. We have 3 of those. Incredible. Wow. This deck seems to have a lot of good ways to make token creatures and a lot of ways to like kind of manipulate what we're doing in the future. I like that. Camaraderie is an action card with an Amber pip. Play, exhaust a friendly Star Alliance creature. If you do, draw 2 cards for each of its non-Star Alliance neighbors. So it's another card where you want to have a Star Alliance creature next to non-Star Alliance creatures. So we really want to make sure we do that in this deck. Okay. That's really interesting. We've got another upgrade. Badge of Unity. This creature belongs to a House Star Alliance in addition to other houses. All right, so you can turn a creature into a Star Alliance creature. Always good. Always good to play off house. Hapless Cadet makes his return with a damage pip and a draw pip. He's got Taunt and Destroy. Your opponent loses 3. Really cool card. That puts your opponent in a terrible position. If you're protecting something really annoying, do they fight into it? Do they destroy it and lose 3 Ember? Really good card. In Sanctum now we have Taxing Journey, which is an action card with an Amber pip and a draw pip. Play, a friendly creature captures 1 Amber. Each of its neighbors that shares a house with it also captures 1 Amber. So it seems like Sanctum is kind of different. It wants to have creatures that have the same house next to each other. So a little bit of anti-synergy there. We'll have to try to play with a few creatures that are kind of staggered and a few creatures that aren't, since we know we have these cards in our deck. We've got the Request Donations action card. You make a token creature and it captures 2. So it's nice that we have a token creature that has some at least a little bit more power. It can survive maybe a few small hits, capturing 2 amber. Pretty cool. We've got Pandulf the Provoker, a creature with 4 power, 2 armor, and taunt. And when you play, you enrage an enemy creature. That could provide some disruption if they have good reap effects. And I like that we have more creatures with taunt, so that's pretty cool. We have Outflank, which is an action card with an amber pip. Each Sanctum flank creature captures 2 from its opponent. That's a big amber capture swing. Pretty cool. They could take our opponent off of a key pretty well. Very cool. Chally the Safeguard. It is a creature with 4 power, 2 armor, and deploy and taunt. Another taunt creature that we can put anywhere. Very useful. We have the artifact Celestial Gorm with an amber pip. Omni, destroy Celestial Gorm. Return each other artifact to its owner's hand. I don't know. It's cool. It kind of fills up our opponent's hand, and it's an Omni, which is nice. But it doesn't really destroy anything, and it only really slows our opponents down. They keep their artifacts. So I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. I'll have to play it a few times to see if it ends up being worthwhile. We have 2 of them, though, so actually that would add more consistency, so that'd probably be pretty good. We have Absolve, which is an action card with an amber pip. Play, heal 1 damage from each creature. Each creature healed this way captures 1 from its opponent. So it's sort of like Cleansing Wave, except for capturing instead of getting amber. So you want to basically heal your team and not your opponents. So that way you capture their amber. Interesting card. And we've got 2 of that. A lot of ways to capture in this Sanctum. I like to see that. Shoulder Armor is an upgrade with an amber pip. While this creature is on a flank, it gets +2 armor and +2 power. Okay. Good to put on maybe a taunt creature or something with high power that we want to fight with. Maybe even a token. We've got Baldric the Bold, creature with 4 power, 2 armor. Before fight, if the creature Baldric the Bold fights is the most powerful enemy creature, gain 2 amber. Oh, wow. That is really cool. So, I mean, for example, if they have a really weak board and it just happens to be that their most powerful creature has elusive or just, less than 2 power or 2 power or less, you could just get free 2 amber and fight into something. That's a lot of value. I like him a lot. Friendship is an upgrade with an amber pip. When this creature would be dealt damage, if it has 1 or more neighbors, that damage is divided among its neighbors as evenly as possible instead. Okay, so 1 or more neighbors. So this is a good protection card. This is a good card to put on a creature that has like a Taunter or a lot of Sanctum creatures next to it. So yeah, you can really you can have your big creatures take damage for something smaller. So hopefully we have some like really high value small creatures to use this card on. We have the Xanthix Harvester. He'd be cool between 2 Sanctum guys. Cannot be used while he has well, actually, we can't put him between 2 Sanctum guys because then he can't be used, of course. Of course, that's the fact. So he needs to be between 2 Mars cards to be able to use him, and you get an extra amber when you reap with him. We have the Tixel Beambuckler, creature with 4 power, 1 armor. Play, deal 2 damage to a creature, and move it to either flank of its controller's battle line. So that's pretty cool. You can move around things. You can kind of manipulate taunts to kind of be able to fight into things that are annoying. And a little bit of damage splash is always good. Collector Worm, great card. 2 power, 5 armor. Put the creature Collector Worm fights into your archives. And if that creature leaves your archives, put it into its owner's hand instead. So far, we have nothing that archives, except for, I think, the token creature generator from Star Alliance. But we don't mind, that's 1 card. So since we don't have much archiving in this deck, we don't really care about adding a bunch of creatures to our archives and not being able to pick them up. So that's pretty cool. Mix the Tall-Minded, 5 power creature. Your opponent's keys cost +1 amber for each friendly Mars creature in play. So far we have, I think, 3, and he's a 4th one. So hopefully have a lot more. That'll be really handy. Scaling amber control is always good. The Mark II generator, I'm a big fan of this already. Enters play ready, and you make a token creature. Great card. Kaboom is an action card. Put each Mars creature into its owner's archives. Destroy each creature. Gain 3 chains. So this might be kind of anti-synergy with the Collector Worm, since if we add a bunch of Mars creatures to our archives, we'll want to get them back at some point. But, a board wipe's a board wipe, and if we're behind and we need to use it, we need to use it. So always good to have the option. Clone Home, action card. Play, make a token creature. If there are more friendly creatures than enemy creatures, archive, clone home. So I think our Star Alliance one wanted more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, and this one wants more friendly than enemy. So I guess either way, we have an option for a token creature generator, no matter the situation. So, good to have all the options. Brain Dart is an action card with an Amber Pip. Enrage an enemy creature. It captures one from its own side. A little bit of disruption. Not huge. Suspended Animation, action card that enhanced 2 damage pips. Play, put a damaged enemy creature into your archives. If it leaves your archives, put it into its owner's hand instead. Okay, so we can use a damage pip or some small, maybe token creature to fight into something and then get rid of it off the board. That board wipe, we have to really plan out when we want to use it, since we have 2 cards now that put enemies' creatures into our archive. So just something to be careful about. Mothership Support, action card with an Amber Pip. For each friendly, ready Mars creature, deal 2 damage to a creature. So they have to be friendly, ready Mars creatures. So we need to have them out already. So, like I said, I think previously, I'm not a huge fan of this card. Don't get too much value out of it, but if it hits, it could hit hard. We have a decent number of Mars creatures, I think, in this deck. We've got the rare Replay Pod artifact. Each friendly Mars creature gains destroyed. Place this creature face down under Replay Pod. Action. Put each card on Replay Pod into your hand. Purge Replay Pod. Oh, okay. So this isn't quite like one of the other artifacts we've seen. This kind of takes your dead creatures, stores them for a while, and then as an action you can just put them all back in your hand. Interesting. So I guess whenever whatever number of Mars creatures we have, whenever we would have maybe half or more of them under Replay Pod, we would just go ahead and action it, get rid of it, and get them all back. That's really cool. That gives kind of our creatures 2 lives, provided that they don't get rid of this artifact. That's really cool. I think that'll be really useful. We have the second rare, Kixlix Plague Master, 3 power creature. After fight, after reap, deal 3 damage to each human creature. This damage cannot be prevented by armor. So that's a big bit of anti-synergy since we have a lot of human creatures in our Sanctum. Maybe if we just happen to not have any Sanctum on the board, this would be useful. But otherwise, I think this might be kind of a bad rare to have in this deck. But anyway, let's pick up our cards here and let's do a creature count. I want to say it seemed like we had a decent number. Okay, squaring this up. And we have token creature and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11? Really? Was that all we had? Oh my gosh. So I guess I saw a lot of those big Sanctum guys and thought we had a lot more. That is a low number of creatures. I assume we could make up for it with our action cards, but let's count our amber then. Let's see how much amber we have on the cards. So we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, wow. So that's actually the most amber we've seen on just the cards in a deck so far from Winds of Exchange. That's pretty good. It's still just 2 keys, but 2 keys and 2 more amber on top of that. Or actually, sorry, 2 keys and 4 more amber on top of that, which, that's pretty good. With 11 creatures, we would have to reap out a bit more, provided our opponent doesn't, interfere with that. There's a lot to say about 16 amber just on the cards. And then on top of that, we have some token generators. Let's see how many token generators we have. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 2 so far. 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. Not great, not terrible. We've seen decks with less and decks with more. So an average amount of token generation. Some of them are recurable, but then again, with the recursion, comes with the artifact use. The archive usage. So we kind of have to play with our battle line. We have a couple cards that want our battle line to have staggered creatures, and then I think a card or two that wants our battle line to have creatures with the same house. So playing with our battle line in the right way is going to be key, and then also playing with our archive correctly, because we have the one card that puts all the Mars creatures back into our archives and then wipes the board. So, we want to be strategic about using that because we have other things that could take our opponent's creatures. So having to make the decision between giving our opponent back a big creature and wiping the board at the same time could be a little bit, difficult to make. But overall, I think it's an interesting deck. I will definitely test it out, and we will see how it plays. I want to thank you all for watching, and we will return next time with the final Winds of Exchange deck. Bye-bye.